So hello friends, in today's video we will discuss an important concept of critical radius and critical thickness of insulation. So today's video lecture will be important, so watch this lecture till the end. If you have any doubts then please ask me in the comment section. So without any further wasting time we will start. So to understand what is critical radius and critical thickness, first we will consider a hollow cylindrical pipe. So you can see this is the front view of this hollow cylindrical pipe. Now let us consider this pipe have the superheated steam inside it. So the steam is superheated. The temperature of this superheated steam will be T1. The inner radius of this pipe will be R1 and the outer radius of this pipe will be R2. Now as we know that superheated steam will have a maximum temperature. So let us consider that temperature as T1. Now the surrounding of this pipe will have atmospheric air and the temperature of atmospheric air we consider as T4. And as we know that atmospheric air will be the temperature of atmospheric air will be low as compared to superheated steam. So there will be a temperature difference, so there will be a heat transfer or heat loss from the steam to the surrounding, and this heat loss will be in the radial direction. Now let us consider the heat transfer coefficient of superheated steam be H1 and the heat transfer coefficient of the surrounding air will be H2. Now you can see here it is a thermal circuit. Okay. So now we will see the thermal resistance between the different temperatures. So first we will see temperature difference between we will see the thermal resistance between temperature T1 and T2. So T1 is the temperature of the steam and T2 is the temperature of the innermost wall of this cylindrical pipe. So what will be the thermal resistance? It will be 1 upon H1 into A1. What is A1? A1 is the inner area. Now we will see this T2, the thermal resistance between T2 and T3. So you can see here we will have the heat transfer as conduction. So what will be the thermal resistance in case of conduction? It will be 1 upon 2 pi KL into ln of R2 by R1, where K is the thermal conductivity of this pipe, where L is the length of the pipe. Okay. Now the thermal resistance between temperature T3 and T4. T3 is the temperature of outermost wall of this pipe and T4 is the temperature of the surrounding air. So so you can see between T3 and T4 there will be a heat convection, means heat transfer by convection. So what will be the thermal resistance? The thermal resistance will be 1 upon H2 into A2. What will be A2? A2 is the outer area of the wall. So inner area means the inner area of this inside wall and the outer area means outer area of this outside wall. Okay. So now suppose that we have to supply this superheated steam to this turbine. So when we supply the superheated steam to the turbine, then only we get a efficient work from the turbine. Now if the steam converts into wet steam and if you supply that wet steam to the turbine, then you will get a low efficient work, and also the turbine blades can be corrode or erode due to wet steam. So to stop that steam, to stop superheated steam to convert into wet steam, we have to do some cover, or we have to cover this cylindrical pipe with some insulating material. So let us consider first, this is a steel pipe. The pipe is made of steel and there is no insulation covered on this pipe. So when we directly connect this pipe with the turbine, then naturally the superheated steam will lose its heat energy to the surrounding and it will start converting into wet steam. So that wet steam will affect the work efficiency of turbine, and also it can corrode or erode the turbine blades. So to stop that steam to convert into wet steam, now we have to cover this pipe with some insulating material. So for that we will see the equation as we know. So what is equation Q? Q is the heat loss or heat transfer is equals to delta T divided by summation of RTH. So from this equation you see that how to decrease this heat transfer. So you will think that by increasing the thermal resistance, summation of thermal resistance, we can decrease this heat loss. Okay, for up to some extent this is true, that by increasing the thermal resistance we can reduce this heat loss. But the true story, actual story behind this concept is different. So now we will see the actual story behind increasing this insulation. So for example, let us consider we have a pipe like this. So this is the inner radius R1 and this is the outer radius R2. So when we goes on wrapping this cylindrical pipe with the insulating material, so you can notice that our outer radii goes on increasing. So as our outer radii goes on increasing, this outer area, let's say A2, what is the formula of area? It is 2 pi R2 into length of this pipe. So as our outer radii goes on increasing, our outer area also goes on increasing according to this formula. So as outer radius is increasing, our outer area also increases, and as our outer area also increases, our heat loss also increases. Now how I will show. Now for example, we are stopping the heat to loss from this outer wall to the surrounding. So what type of heat transfer will be between this outer wall and the surrounding? It will be convective heat loss. So what is the formula of convective heat loss? Q convective is equals to HA into delta T. This formula had came according to Newton's cooling law. So as this outer area is increasing, you can see from this equation our Q convective, that means heat loss due to convection, also increases. Okay, so our heat loss due to convection increases. So as we have steady state condition, so in steady state condition, our overall heat transfer or overall heat loss should remains constant or same. Okay, so in this pipe you can see we have two types of heat loss. That is, first from inner to the inner from this steam to the inner wall will be convective, from inner wall to the outer wall will be conductive, and from outer wall to the surrounding will again convective. So means you can see here two types of heat loss, that is due to convection and due to conduction. So according to steady state condition, our Q convective should be equals to Q conduction, because the rate, overall heat loss rate should remains constant. So this has to be satisfied under steady state condition. So when this convective heat loss is increasing, this conductive heat loss has to increase. So you can see when we are adding more and more insulation, we can observe that we are having more and more heat loss, but we want to reduce this heat loss. So after adding a particular amount of insulation, that means for example, after adding a particular amount of insulation, our outer radii becomes RC. Up to RC we had added this insulating material. So now you can see this is a pipe, and on this pipe we had added a particular amount of insulation, and our outer radius of this pipe had become equals to RC. Okay, So at this radii, at RC radii, when we had added a particular amount of insulation up to RC radii, we can notice that we are having maximum heat loss up to this RC radii. Now, if we increase further insulating material, for example, if we increasing more and more insulating material and our new outer radii is, let's say, R2 dash. So, after increasing a particular amount of insulation up to RC, now further adding this insulating material up to radius R2 dash, we can notice that after RC, the heat loss starts decreasing. Up to RC, we notice that our heat loss is increasing, and at RC, our heat loss is maximum. Means if we had added a particular amount of insulation which becomes equals to this outer radii as RC, then we can notice that at radius RC our heat loss is maximum. But after adding further radii, our heat loss starts decreasing. Means after adding RC radius, after adding material equals to RC radius, further we add a material, then we can notice that our heat loss starts decreasing. Now why this occurs, that why heat loss starts decreasing? So when we add further material from RC to R2 dash, we can notice that our thermal conductive resistance, which is given by 1 upon 2 pi KL into ln of R2 by R1. So this value goes on increasing. This thermal conductive resistance goes on increasing. Now as thermal resistance goes on increasing, thermal conductive resistance goes on increasing, our Q conduction goes decreasing. Means how? Because we have a formula that Q is equals to delta T divided by RTH. So as RTH increases, in case of Q conduction, we notice that our heat loss starts decreasing. So we can notice that up to RC radius, this surface area effect is dominating, so Q convection is increasing. But after RC, when we further add material to this pipe, then we can notice that our thermal conductive resistance goes on increasing. So our thermal conductive resistance dominate the surface area effect. So as this thermal conductive resistance goes on increasing, our Q conduction, that is heat loss due to conduction, goes on decreasing. Now we have steady state heat conduction. So as we have steady state heat conduction, the overall heat transfer should remain constant. So Q conduction should be equals to Q convection, which we had seen now only. So now as Q conduction is decreasing, this Q convection has to be decreased. So we can notice that after adding particular amount of thickness, when we add more and more insulation, we can notice that our heat loss is decreasing now. So at RC radius, we can notice that we are having maximum heat loss, and after RC, we can see that our heat loss starts reducing. Now whatever I said, I will show on this graph. So this graph is Q versus radius graph. Okay. So you can see that up to radius R2, we have the heat loss as Q. Now if we add more insulating material, this outer radii goes on increasing. So you can notice that this, as outer radii is increasing, the heat loss is also increases. The heat loss also increases. Now up to reaching the value as RC, means when we had added a particular amount of insulation, that the outer radius of this pipe become equals to RC, at that point we have maximum heat loss as Q max. So when we add a material up to RC, we can see the heat loss is increasing. But after adding more and more material beyond RC, we can see our heat loss is decreasing. So here we can see our heat loss is decreasing. So the radius at which we are getting maximum heat loss is known as critical radius, is known as critical radius. So RC is equals to critical radius. So again I am repeating, what is the critical radius? The radius at which we are getting the maximum heat loss is known as critical radius. So this is critical radius RC. What will be the critical thickness? So critical thickness I will show in this graph. This will be the critical thickness, which is RC minus R2. This is critical thickness. Now in different books you will find the shape of this graph in different way, because in that graph they had taken a particular scale, but I am drawing the graph with freehand. So the shape will be different, but the concept behind this graph will be same. So this is the critical thickness. So what is the meaning of critical thickness? That we have to add this much amount of material on the pipe to get the maximum heat loss. That is RC minus R2 is the critical thickness. Now after this thickness, if we add more and more material, then we can see our heat loss starts decreasing. That is this. So I hope you understood the whole idea behind the critical radius and critical thickness. Now we will see how to find this value of critical radius. So now first we will write T1 is the temperature of steam or the fluid inside this pipe. T2 is the temperature of this inner wall of this pipe. T3 is the temperature of the outer wall of this pipe. T4 is the temperature of the surrounding area, or T4 is the temperature of surrounding air. L is the length of pipe. A1 is the area of inner wall of this pipe, and A2 is the area of outer wall of this pipe. And K is the thermal conductivity of this pipe material. Now R1 is this inner radius. So now we want to find the value of RC. That means this outer radius will be varying. This R2 is the outer radius which is variable, because we want to add a material up to which we will get a maximum heat loss. So to find that, R2 will be variable and R1 inner radius will be fixed. So write this much things, then we will start this derivation. At first we will draw this thermal circuit. So we are having 4 temperatures. So 4 points we will make. It is T1, T2, T3 and T4. So from T1 to T2 we will get convective resistance, that is 1 upon H1 into A1. From T2 to T3 we will get conductive thermal resistance will be 1 upon 2 pi KL into ln of R2 by R1. From T3 to T4 we will again get the convective resistance, which will be 1 upon H2 into outer area A2. So these are these thermal resistance which are connected in series. So what is the formula? Q is equals to delta T divided by summation of RTH. Now to find the Q maximum, so for this heat loss to be maximum, the summation of thermal resistance is to be decreased. So here we will write for minimum thermal resistance. Here we want to find the value of RC. What is RC? RC is the critical radius. So at critical radius we know that we have maximum heat loss. So when this heat loss will be maximum, from this equation we can see that this summation of thermal resistance will be minimum. So for minimum thermal resistance we will write d by dr of summation of thermal resistance is equals to 0. So this is the condition for minimum thermal resistance. Now we will write the summation of RTH. Summation of RTH means summation of all this. So 1 upon H1A1 plus 1 upon 2 pi KL into ln of R2 by R1 plus 1 upon H2 into A2 is equals to 0. So d by dr into 1 upon H1, what will be inside area? Inside area will be 2 pi R1 into L. So this is inside area, and what is outside area? It is 2 pi R2 into L. Okay, so here we will write 2 pi r1 into L, then plus 1 upon 2 pi kl into ln of r2 by r1 plus 1 upon h2 into outside area is 2 pi r2 into L is equals to 0. So as we know that r1 is the inner radius and it is constant. So this whole term will be, derivative of this whole term will be 0. So 0 plus 1 upon 2 pi kl is constant. So outside into d by dr into this ln of r2 by r1 will be ln r2 minus ln r1 plus d by dr of 1 upon h2 into 2 pi r2 into L is equals to 0. So it will be 1 upon 2 pi kl into, now derivative of ln of r2. Now we know that r2 is variable. So derivative of ln r2 will be 1 upon r2. And we know that r1 is constant. So derivative of constant will be 0. Plus this d by dr of this term. Now here 1 upon h2 into 2 pi into L will be constant. So out of this derivation, so 2 pi h2L out, then d by dr of 1 upon r2 is equals to 0. Now one more step, 1 upon 2 pi kl into 1 upon r2 plus 1 upon 2 pi h2 into L. Now derivative of 1 upon r2 will be minus 1 upon r2 square is equals to 0. So this 1 upon 2 pi kl into 1 upon r2 is equals to, this minus sign goes on the right hand side, it will be plus. So 1 upon 2 pi h2 into L into r2 square. So this 2 pi L cancel. Then 1 r2 is going to be cancelled. So we are getting r2 is equals to k by h2. So this is our value of critical radius. Why? Because we are finding the maximum heat loss. So when this heat loss is maximum, our outer radii will be equals to this critical radius. So we will mark as RC. So this is the formula of critical radius. So an important point I am telling, if there are composite cylinders, then in that case how to find RC? So remember this formula, that RC, what is K? K is the thermal conductivity of the material which is in direct contact with the surrounding air. So thermal conductivity of material which is in direct contact with surrounding, divided by the heat transfer coefficient. H2 is the heat transfer coefficient of surrounding air. Please refer this figure, then you will find that K is the thermal conductivity of the material or the layer which is in direct contact with the surrounding air, and H2 is the heat transfer coefficient of the surrounding air. So heat transfer coefficient, this is coefficient of surrounding. So now if you get n numbers of cylinders or composite cylinders, then how to write the formula of RC for that? Suppose we are having composite cylinders like this. I know this figure is not proper, but this is just for understanding. So this is R1, this is R2, this is R3, and this is R4. So let's say this is K1, thermal conductivity of the first material, then K2 is the thermal conductivity of second, and K3 is thermal conductivity of the third material. Inside there is a fluid having H1 heat transfer coefficient, and outside air is having H2 heat transfer coefficient. So now how to write this RC for this arrangement? So RC for this composite cylinder is equals to, what is the formula? It is thermal conductivity of the material which is in direct contact with the surrounding. So this outer material is in direct contact with the surrounding. So writing the thermal conductivity of that material divided by the heat transfer coefficient of surrounding. So heat transfer coefficient of surrounding is here is H2. So the value of RC for this composite cylinder is K3 by H2. I hope you got the idea. So that's all. I hope you had enjoyed this lecture, and if you have any doubts then please ask me in the comment section. Also follow me on the Instagram. I will provide the link in the description. Please subscribe to my channel for more educational videos. Like and share. Okay, so stay safe and bye.